you look at it, it's probably that because they've invested their hard-earned money. But coming back to this operation, what we understand so far is that the Noida police, of course, are doing their best to ensure that the security measures, whatever is required for not only the residents but also in and around will be provided. And in terms of looking at the visuals right now of the Super Tech Twin Towers, we can see that white sheets that have been put there. Of course, there are concerns about air pollution and noise pollution as well, but we are learning and we're understanding that officials have said that that will also be taken care of. But right here where I am, sector 93, the flyover which is right opposite the Twin Towers, this is exactly what the security deployment and the preparations are like right now, Shivangi.
Right. All right, Nivedana is getting us a quick update from close to the flyover. Nivedana there, she's very close to the flyover where she's getting another big vantage point view of Supertech. Let's talk about now the next report. The next report you will see will explain that why is this happening? Why are these skeletal towers which are half finished coming down? It was a court case which started in 2009 and finally the residents have won. This is the reason why these towers will be down at 2:30 p.m. today.
What began as a court case against illegal construction of the 40-story building in 2009 has resulted in India waiting with bated breath to witness the historic biggest ever demolition in the country today. The question in the minds of many is why. In 2009, when the project was revised from a 14-story building to a 40-story building, the home buyers of the original project had moved the Allahabad High Court, citing various violations. During the hearing, the Allahabad High Court found that the Twin Towers were built in complete violation of building bylaws and most importantly, it failed to take the consent of the home buyers before adding additional floors.
Let's talk about how the detonation process is going to take place. So a lot of detonators will be used. 3,700 kilograms of explosives are being used to bring down the Supertech Twin Towers. We are talking about emulsions being used, detonators being used, shock tubes being used filled with explosive material in gel and powdered form, which will bring this entire building down. The two towers, in fact, Apex and Cayenne, they both will be coming down.
The first demolition order came from the Allahabad High Court in 2014. Later, the Supreme Court upheld the order in 2021 and in 2022. The demolition has faced delays ever since the top court ordered for the demolition in August 2021. In fact, a test demolition was carried out in April this year. Albeit the delay of justice by 13 years, the demolition signifies and marks an important win for home buyers who took up the fight and demanded their rights. The developer Supertech's losses runs in crores and the company filed for bankruptcy after being ordered to pay 5 crores for the demolition cost on top of the refund for 633 home buyers with an interest of 12%. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
All right, viewers, we continue to be live and breaking at this point of time, viewers. So we saw the report that this has been a very, very long legal battle from 2009, but finally it has been a win for home buyers. It has been a win for justice and a fight against corruption. When these towers come down, so will the corrupt practices which happen in these kind of cases. This is a big win for the people, and that is why we are tracking the story very, very closely here as well. Remember that when it comes to safety, all the safety precautions are being taken right now. The police on the spot, 560 police personnel on the spot, and we have been talking to residents, we have been talking to the authorities. Edifice Engineering and Jet are together doing this demolition. It's a South African partner which is doing this demolition with India. So this is a very, very big step for India because we see demolitions all over the world. We have seen some spectacular demolitions, the way that they come down, very controlled demolitions. The recent ones were the Ocean Tower and also the Trump Plaza in the US. Very, very controlled, scientific planning done for them. And the similar thing is happening in India. So that's why the entire world is watching as India is taking part in demolishing these towers of corruption. We have been speaking to residents as well. Some residents are excited to see the spectacle as it comes down the view, but some of them are apprehensive about environmental and health damage. Let's have a listen in to what they said.
नहीं हुआ नहीं है, सारी डॉग को इवैक्यूएट किया जाता है यहाँ पे ताकि इनका ज्यादा ही बच जाए। जितने डॉग सब हम ले चुके हैं, ये लास्ट बच गया था, अंदर फंस गए थे, अंदर उनको निकाल दिया गया ताकि और भी हम चेक कर रहे हैं कि कोई जानवर किसी की जानलेवा हमला नहीं हुए हैं इस ब्लास्ट में। सर यहाँ से 32-33 एनिमल्स हो चुके हैं, ये कंबाइन फोर्स से काफी सारी एनजीओ से मिलके और वो चल रहे हैं। प्लीज हमें आज जाने दीजिए।
All right, so we just saw that what the residents are saying, and I would like to go across to our studios right now. Rukma, over to you.
Many thanks, Shivangi. And well, continuing with our regular updates throughout the day on the super demolition of the decade. But now let's take a look at some other stories making headlines across the country. The Haryana government is expected to write to the Goa government today seeking a CBI probe into Sonali Phogat's death after her family met with the chief minister requesting this. Scheduled to take place at 2:30 in the afternoon today is the demolition of the decade as the Supertech Twin Towers are set to come down. Various teams of response forces and authorities have been deployed at the site to monitor the demolition that is to be completed all within 10 seconds. Police in Goa have registered a case under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act following the admission of the accused Sudhir Sangwan. Charges under the NDPS have been filed against the owner of Curly's as well as a drug peddler who was a room boy at the Grand Leone Resort. Several workers as well as leaders of the Congress expected to tender their resignations, resulting in a mass exit from the party. Following Ghulam Nabi Azad's exit, the Azad camp has further organized a major strategy meet in Jammu. Congress Working Committee expected to meet today in order to approve schedule to elect new president of the party, along with some states not having completed the formalities required for the elections, which are reported to be delayed due to party's present focus on the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Jharkhand's Chief Minister Hemant Soren, along with other MLAs of the UPA government in the state, returned to Ranchi following a picnic in Khunti. Speculations over the Chief Minister's disqualification as an MLA remain as sources state the ECI has filed a report on the illegal mining scam in the state. BJP National President JP Nadda calls Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao the new Nizam, stating that prohibitory orders had been issued against him as he made his way to a meet following an end to Telangana BJP leader Bandi Sanjay Kumar's Padayatra. Congress MLA in Assam accuses the state's government of creating an issue over the arrest related to terror organizations in the state and to shift the focus away from other issues. The comments were made after at least 35 arrests were made in connection with people linked to the Al-Qaeda in the Islamic subcontinent, along with leaders of Ansarullah Bangla team. A national committee meeting of the National People's Party organized as party prepares for upcoming polls in Meghalaya next year. NPP chief Conrad Sangma, when asked if there was a possibility for an alliance with the BJP, stated that he would go for the polls alone in Meghalaya, along with two other states, and that the TMC had captured the opposition in Meghalaya following its entry in the state. BSF personnel detain at least 5 Bangladeshi nationals in the district of South Salmara, Mann in Assam. Nationals who crossed over from Bangladesh were later handed back to the border guard on humanitarian grounds and a gesture of goodwill. And it's time now for a very short break, but all the news and updates coming up on Republic. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
As India's largest residential tower is all set to go down, the Republic Media Network is going to keep you updated with minute-to-minute updates from the process of demolition to the process of clearing up the debris. Stay tuned to Republic Media Network as we keep you updated to minute-to-minute update of the demolition of the decade.
Tallest building, Supertech Twin Towers, right behind me, 100 meters tall, 40-story high, which will be coming down. It's going to be a waterfall implosion. A lot of detonators, emulsion, shock tubes being used filled with explosive material and gel and powdered form. Very, very serious violation of building codes. It's coming at the back of the Supreme Court order. In nefarious complicity between the Noida Authority and Supertech. And on Sunday, the Twin Towers will be reduced to just rubble.
When Sonali Fogart taken to the same restaurant, there she was intentionally and forcefully drink, and that is now visible in the CCTV, which clearly sees that how Sudhir Sangwan, who is forcefully making Sonali Fogart to drink 1.5 gram of MDMA that was mixed in the same drink.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course there have been journalists and
fire that erupted in the PVC waste area international capital.
जब तक मनीष सिसोदिया की गिरफ्तारी नहीं हो जाती है, तब तक ये विरोध प्रदर्शन जारी रहेगा.
Court has granted both the accused to the police custody over the death of Sonali Fogart.
This is the question which Aam Aadmi Party is asking from BJP.
It's a Super Sunday demolition in Noida. Noida Supertech Twin Towers to be demolished at 2:30 p.m. today. The towers that symbolize corruption to be demolished in controlled implosion today after Supreme Court order in 2021. $3,700 kgs of explosives as Noida Supertech Twin Towers to be razed to rubble in just 9 seconds. Illegal Supertech Towers set to bite the dust. The world watches with bated breath. Republic Media Network with the biggest crew on the ground as we cover the Twin Tower demolition live. The Noida Supertech Twin Towers are set to be demolished. The stage is set and the countdown has already begun. It's over to Shivangi as Republic gets there on site with the biggest crew on the ground. Shivangi, it's over to you.
Supertech Twin Towers right now, and in fact, We are right outside Supertech and we have a very, very prime view at this point of time. We continue our live coverage from Noida. This is Sector 93A of Noida. What you see behind me, Supertech Towers, and they are covered with these iron mesh and blankets because once a debris will be blasted off, it might fly off. So this is to control the demolition. It's going to be an implosion. The right word to be used is implosion because explosion would mean that things would fly out, debris would fly out. But here it's going to be implosion, which means that base will be blasted first and then the towers will collapse like a waterfall. There will be an Indian blaster who will be pressing that button around 2:30 and it will come down like a pack of cards in just 9 seconds. And a lot of safety has been put in place at this point of time. Barricades all over around the 1 kilometer to 2 kilometer radius. The Noida, Greater Noida Expressway will be closed off from around 2:15 to 2:45. Green corridor has been put in place to make sure that if there's any emergency situation, that will be tackled. More than 560 police personnel are everywhere. In fact, the Republic TV's crew was also coming here. We saw that there were police at every spot on the roads at every turn and around to make sure that no vehicles enter and safety is maintained. So everything is being done to make sure that safety is maintained, and this planning has been happening for a while. Scientific planning, you can say, engineering techniques being used. We have been speaking to the authorities, Edifice Engineering and JET, speaking to Republic TV, saying that this is something they have planned very well, and they've also laid out the techniques as well. Piyush Ori is joining me. Piyush Mishra is also joining me right now. All right, Nivedana is also joining me. I would like to go to Nivedana first. Nivedana also has an amazing view from where she is right now. She has a great vantage point. It's going to be 2:30 p.m. when they will come down as a pack of cards. In fact, not just Nivedana, not just Piyush Ori, not just Piyush Mishra, but we have many reporters, even from a Hindi team, which have the best view and will show that live to you at 2:30 p.m. Nivedana, tell us what's happening, where you are right now. What is the traffic looking like? Because where you are, I think that road will be closed very soon, around 2:30 or 2:15 p.m.
Just mentioned, we are within the vicinity of the Supertech Twin Towers. In fact, I am right on the flyover at the moment. Like you mentioned, that traffic has been cordoned off on all the other areas. Even in fact, if you look to my right, there are barricades put here, but the same barricades you will see on all other 4 sides, and probably closer to the demolition, of course. We will be seeing more security and police personnel step up, number one. Number two, of course, the traffic has been diverted as well. In terms of, traffic going from Yamuna Expressway to Greater Noida to Noida Police or Delhi will be diverted from 0 point to Pari Chowk in the Yamuna Expressway. Now, this is a flyover that is obviously used on a daily basis, but for this particular implosion that we're seeing, it has been cordoned off. Now, of course, in the visuals, you will be able to see all the police forces have got together, and they have been, there's been a lot of movement so far in terms of what they're preparing for right now. Coming back to talking about traffic, traffic going from Yamuna Expressway to Greater Noida or Noida to Delhi will be completely closed in front of the Noida or Greater Noida Expressway and Service Road at Sector 132. The traffic will pass inside Sector 132 towards the destination from Pusta Road is what we understand. And also, traffic going from Noida to Greater Noida Yamuna Expressway will be diverted from Mahamaya flyover towards Sector 37. This traffic will go towards the destination via city center, Sector 71 is what we're understanding. Also, in terms of the vehicles which belong to these residents, we're understanding that they've been given an option to also park it in around Sector 82 of a bus stand or the Botanical multi-level parking. So that's the latest update in terms of that. But we're looking at the police personnel and whatever has been deployed, as well as the traffic being cornered off, like I just mentioned. What are the diversions that have been made and the barricades, of course, to ensure better security, Shivangi.
All right, Nivedana is joining us live there, and she's getting us all the updates when it comes to traffic and the routes around the Noida Expressway. In fact, like we just told you, that a lot of areas have been cordoned off and movement is extremely restricted, viewers. That is a very important point to note. Very, very tough and strict guidelines here. That means that this project is being taken very, very seriously. Multiple precautions and multiple layers of security put in place, including police personnel and NDRF reserve forces. around, as well ambulances there, fire tenders at the spot. Cranes arrived earlier today to take out all the debris when it does happen. In fact, around 30,000 tons, 30,000 cubic meters of debris will be left after it's over. It'll take around 3 months to clear all of it out to various locations. Also, Piyush Mishra, I want to go across to Piyush Mishra right now. And Piyush Mishra is at a society very close to Supertech. And Piyush has been speaking to residents. Piyush was telling us a short while back, and I will come to you, Piyush, that it's a mixed reaction coming in. Some residents are happy and some are apprehensive. Piyush, tell us why is that?
Well, Shivangi, residents who are happy are the one who had invested their money in Twin Tower and who have been cheated. And today they are happy that they have won the case and they are calling this a big win against the corruption. Others are apprehensive of the after effect of demolition, which will take place at 2:30. And many are also scared because there are some age-old people living in their houses having breathing problems, having lung diseases, because authorities have told to them not to come out of their houses because people having lung diseases or breathing issues, they could face a lot of problem because a lot of dust will come out when demolition will take place. Right behind me is the same Twin Tower which we are right now showing, which will be demolished at 2:30. Both the towers will come down at 2:30 p.m. Before that, what we are now learning is that all preparations have been done. You can see, if Anil is showing you the pictures of these two Twin Towers, the terrace area, the balcony area of this tower has, of each and every floor, has been completely covered with white and black cloth. What we are now told is that besides these clothing which has been done, there are explosive stores have been placed there. Around 20,000 holes have been drilled at each and every corner of these two Twin Towers, and at 2:30 p.m. when exercise would be carried out, at that time a button would be pressed. Each and every explosive which is connected with the help of a wire, that would go on, and then the towers would would be demolished. The implosion will take place. Soon, when it takes place, a massive amount of dust would be generated. A good amount of debris would be generated. So people are not concerned about much about the debris, but they are very much concerned about dust, because residents of this society are going to be directly impacted because of the dust that would be generated, because soon after the demolition will take place, entire dust will flow here, because wind is flowing from that direction to this direction, and that is going to be a major cause of concern for the residents here. We have been speaking to many residents who are very much concerned about this, but the doctors as well as the authorities have told them to stay indoors, not to come out of their houses, and to keep their faces covered with masks and follow all the precautions those have been asked to these residents to follow. Now let us talk to viewers about the entire incident. Remember that entire case, beg your pardon. Remember that all these things started in 2000 when the plot was given to Supertech for constructing multiple story houses here. At that time, the permission was given for only 9 stories, but it was increased to first to 12, then to 24, and then it rose up to 40 towers, and that became a cause of concern for the residents of the society who are living in the nearby societies. They approached to Allahabad High Court, then to Supreme Court. In 2021 in August, Supreme Court had ordered demolition of these two Twin Towers, and then once again Supreme Court asked about the demolition, which could not be implemented by Noida authorities, and then again in 2022 the orders were issued by Supreme Court to demolish these two Twin Towers. So in few hours from now, we will see the massive exercise of this demolition to take place. We are showing you pictures of this Twin Tower, which will be demolished at around 2:30. Before that, all preparations have been done. Around 3,700 kilogram of explosive has been placed there at each and every corner of this very two Twin Tower, and all the preparations have been done. 560 personnel have been deployed. Officials vehicles from Jet Demolitions and Edifice, they have been they have already reached there, and before the exercise take place, only people who are concerned with the demolition process, they would be allowed, and that also till 500 meters away from this very structure. So we will be showing live pictures when demolition take place. We are right now at Parasnath Prestige Society, where the residents of the nearby societies are coming here, and they are being welcomed by the residents of this society, because all the residents of nearby societies have been asked to vacate the entire premises by 7 a.m. today in the morning, and all of them have so far have vacated all these societies. Those are nearby Twin Towers.
Right, Piyush. Piyush also has a great vantage point, viewers. He's also in a society very close by, Parasnath Society, extremely close by. Parasnath Society, in fact, has been helping the residents of ATS Village and Emerald Court, which are very close. In fact, ATS Village and Emerald Court, the two societies, are just 9 to 10 meters away from Supertech. So they have, of course, left, but the community also coming together and helping each other today. That is also something we have seen. Also, like we told you, that many NGOs coming forward and making sure that even the helpless stray dogs are also removed from the spot. So preparations on all fronts: police, engineering, scientific planning, and also humanity, all of it coming together. But why did this case start? Why are these towers being taken down? These towers, viewers, are illegal towers, and it has been a long court case all the way from 2009. But the residents have won, the citizens of India have won. Take a look at this report.
At 2:30 p.m. this afternoon, these twin towers will be razed to rubble in the heart of Noida. In a controlled blast using the waterfall implosion method, these twin towers will be demolished after a Supreme Court order in August 2021.
100 meters of waterfall in just 9 seconds. That's what's going to happen on Sunday afternoon. But what about safety? And as we all know, it's better to be safe than sorry. So a lot of safety precautions have already been put in place. Now, if you look around next to the Supertech Twin Towers, you can see that geotextile fabric has been used to cover the buildings close by. Now, there are two societies close by. One is ATS Village and one is Emerald Court. There are 5,000 residents in both the societies, and they have been asked to evacuate. So 5,000 residents will be asked to evacuate at 7 a.m. in the morning, and they will only come back in the evening after the demolition is over. So that's a clear instruction given to the ones who stay close to Supertech Twin Towers. Secondly, 1,000 vehicles around the area will also be removed from the area. 2-kilometer radius from the Twin Towers will be completely closed off.
With nearly 5,000 residents from nearby societies evacuated, the buildings in the vicinity are covered with geotextile fabric cover to avoid any damage due to the debris. And not just residents, but nearly 1,200 vehicles will be moved for the demolition.
Now we talk about the area around. Of course, the area will be closed off, but also the Greater Noida Expressway will also be closed from around 2 p.m. all the way to around 3 p.m. just as a safety measure. So Edifice Engineering, who's carrying out this demolition, has said that the entire planning is extremely precise to make sure that no untoward incident takes place. They are trying their best, of course, to make sure that there will be no harm or the vibrations will not affect the nearby areas. Now, if you look at the building itself very closely, it is covered with iron mesh. The building is covered with iron mesh and also blankets as well to make sure that the debris does not fly out. After the demolition is over, around 3,500 kilograms of debris will be around. But it will take around 3 months for the entire debris to be removed and put in a different spot.
Fire tenders and ambulances will be parked on the road behind to attend to any medical emergencies, and at least 50 hospital beds have been reserved for residents.
We have done in a very scientific and technical manner. For that, the whole CSIR team under Ministry of Science and Technology, we have deployed, we have picked up scientists from different fields. We have structural engineers, we have geotechnical engineers, we have geoscientists, we have disaster management people, we have blasting experts, we have explosive experts, we have vibration experts.
In a few hours from now, this mega structure will be razed to rubble, and the authorities assure all measures are in place for this demolition of the decade. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
All right, so we continue our live and rolling coverage on Republic TV, and we have multiple reporters. We have Nivedana, we have Piyush Shori, we have Piyush Mishra, and also the entire team of Republic. They are getting you the best viewpoints as the demolition will take place at 2:30 p.m. We continue to be live and breaking, and these illegal towers will be going down as a pack of cards. It will turn into rubble in just a few hours from now. Stay tuned.
There's an old saying in the Navy that ships don't die, they just fade away only to be reborn again. INS Vikrant, the largest indigenous aircraft carrier ever built by the country, where India has joined a league of few nations which has made this feat.
So motto is we win over those who dare to fight.
On September 2nd, INS Vikrant will be commissioned into the Indian Navy.
Fire got erupted in the PVC waste area in the national capital.
जब तक मनीष सिसोदिया की गिरफ्तारी नहीं हो जाती है, तब तक ये विरोध प्रदर्शन जारी रहेगा.
Court has granted both the accused to the police custody over the death of Sonali Fogart.
This is the question which Aam Aadmi Party is asking from BJP.
Massive preparations are being taken by the Noida authorities over here. The demolition is going to take place at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow on Sunday. 5,000 families which are living in vicinity of this building, their health and their security is taken care of. It is expected that around 3,000
DCP of Central Noida Police, speaking on the demolition of the Twin Towers, stated that more than 100 personnel of the Reserve Police Force have been deployed at the site, further stating that the expressway will be closed just before the blast.
लगभग 560 लगभग 550-560 के आसपास डिप्लॉय किए गए हैं और रिजर्व फोर्स 100 से अधिक है और 4 QRTs है. एक और एक्स्ट्रा हम लोग NDRF का टीम 2 जगह हम लोग डिप्लॉय कर रखे हैं. मुझे लगता है कि अभी कुछ समय पहले पूरा का पूरा तैयारी के साथ हम लोग रहेंगे.
And DCP Noida spoke about how all security arrangements were being made with a particular focus on traffic ahead of the demolition of the towers.
जो ब्लास्ट का दिवस है उसके लिए हम लोगों ने इमरजेंसी रूट तय किया है और ग्रीन कॉरिडोर इसको इसलिए अपनाया गया है ताकि कोई भी इमरजेंसी होती है जो चीनीस हॉस्पिटल हैं या अन्य इमरजेंसी है तो यहाँ से किसी को अगर ले जाना हो रश करना हो तो हम बिना किसी समय को बर्बाद किए हुए उनको पहुँचा सकते हैं.
Of pulmonology at Fortis Hospital in Noida, Dr. Mrinal Sarkar stated that evacuations had been organized with health concerns in mind, with sheets installed at the adjacent buildings to minimize accumulation of dust.
Whole thing is planned so that the whole process of demolition happens in a very short time. Thirdly, they also take into consideration the direction of the wind. Right? A demolition like this, or rather an explosion happening in open air, is much safer than, say, underground mines, because everything which is coming out of that gets dissipated by in the ambient air.
Team in charge of the demolition conducted the final review ahead of the implosion, further stating that a team of 400 people had executed the Twin Tower demolition project.
We are right opposite the Super Twin Tech, when we are going to see the biggest demolition of India take place. The countdown has begun, but we at Republic Media Network will continue to get all the live coverage that you need to know about this biggest demolition right after a short break. So don't go anywhere. We will see you very soon.
These are the two rooms that was booked in the name of Sonali Fogart and Sudhir and Sukhwinder Singh. It's already been sealed by the police, and even the FSL team was present at the same room. Anjuna police has registered a separate narcotic case against 4 persons and arrested Curly's owner Edwin Noons and drug peddler Datta Prasad Gaukar. Accused are non-Goans and they cloud B involvement of others. This was the main point that was put before. 10 days custody has been granted by the court to the police of both the accused, that is Sudhir Sangwan and Sukhwinder Singh.
Tallest building, Super Tech Twin Towers, right behind me, 100 meters tall, 40-story high, which will be coming down. It's going to be a waterfall implosion. A lot of detonators, emulsion, shock tubes being used filled with explosive material and gel and powdered form. Very, very serious violation of building codes. It's coming at the back of the Supreme Court order. In nefarious complicity between the Noida Authority and Supertex. And on Sunday, the Twin Towers will be reduced to just rubble.
When Sonali Fogart taken to the same restaurant, there she was intentionally and forcefully drink, and that is now visible in the CCTV, which clearly sees that how Sudhir Sangwan, who is forcefully
Viewers, we are live and breaking on Republic TV. I am Shivangi Shukla, and we continue our live coverage of the big demolition, the biggest demolition of the decade, the tallest buildings in India to be demolished. We're talking about the Super Tech Twin Towers, which are right behind me, and they're seeing their last hours right now. It's around 10:53 a.m. and around 2:30 p.m. That's when they will be coming down like a pack of cards in just 9 seconds. All our reporters are on ground. We have multiple reporters in multiple locations giving us every update on this big story. And the big question is why? Why is this our big story? It's a big story because it's a fight against corruption. And these Super Tech Towers, when they will be brought down, they represent justice when it comes to justice to home buyers, when it comes to the fight against corruption, and when it comes to the long legal battle that residents have fought for this day. Remember that even the Super Tech had appealed to the Supreme Court again and again, asking them to reverse its order when the Supreme Court ordered these illegal towers. They said they are illegal and they have to be brought down. Super Tech had again and again had appealed, but the Supreme Court did not budge, and today is a day when they will be raised down. All right, let's have a look at this report, which explains the long legal battle and the what and why of this big story we are tracking today.
It's a demolition like no other. Let's look at some of the big numbers today. The total blast duration at about 2:30 p.m. when the buildings are brought down is 9 seconds, just 9 seconds. The total quantity of explosives that are being used, 3,700 kilograms. Look at the height of these twin towers, 103 meters. One of the towers, that's the Apex Tower, is a 32-storied building. The Kayan Tower, about 30 floors. The area covered, 7.5 lakh square feet. The debris post-implosion expected, 35,000 cubic meters. The Twin Tower construction cost was about 70 crore rupees. Estimated demolition cost, 20 crore rupees. Cost to be borne by Supertech, the construction company, 5 crore rupees. Cost being realized via selling of debris, 15 crore rupees. The total workers part of this demolition team are about 100. The exclusion zone radius, 500 meters. That's how far people will have to be tomorrow when these buildings are brought down. The total number of people evacuated from this area is about 5,000. The police personnel deployed today, 400. These are some of the big numbers. The demolition today will be the biggest that India has seen, but we have seen some demolitions in the past symbolic. For example, Kerala's Marudu flats, demolition date January 2020. It was a controlled implosion to raze 4 buildings. Here 4 illegal apartments were razed in 2 days. 343 luxury flats were demolished in those 2 days. Some of the razed complexes include Holy Faith and Alpha Serene, Jane's Coral Cove and Golden Kyaloram. The total demolition expense was about 3.6 crore rupees and the compensation paid to the families was 61.5 crore. The revenue in that particular case from selling of the debris was just about 36 lakh rupees. In case of the Holy Faith building, 212 kilograms of explosives was used. The demolition was using controlled implosion technology, and the demolition took place on Supreme Court orders for flouting environment norms. For the Alpha Serene Twin Towers, 343 kilograms of explosives were used. For the Coral Cove building, 370 kilograms of explosives were used for the implosion.
And that was our executive editor, Narendra, getting us all the updates and understand the story even further. Amik Jame Piyush Ori and Piyush Mishra is there as well. Nivedana is with me. And Shavan Sen is also joining us on this big story. Shavan, over to you.
Well, in fact, Republic Media Network's largest crew is now going to cover India's perhaps the biggest demolition that India has ever seen. What we're going to do over the next few hours, viewers, is going to take you through every minute details of this demolition that's going to take place. What you see just behind me are the Supertech Twin Towers. So let me first begin by showing you the latest images. In a short while from now, what you see, the 2 Twin Towers will no longer remain. And that's, I'll just step aside, take a look at it, a closer look to these 2 Twin Towers at Sector 93A in Noida. Roughly around 2:30 this afternoon, what you see are those 2 buildings will come crushing down. Now, we'll take you through this story because there is a story behind these 2 Twin Towers. It largely speaks about the urban problems that we face today. The Supreme Court essentially calling this entire structure, the development of this entire structure, as a collusion of it's an act of corruption, and these 2 towers would be brought down finally. Not to forget that the Noida authorities, some of the authorities, they've been complicit in bringing these 2 twin towers. And what you see is that just barely few meters, just about a couple of meters from that tower, there are 2, those are the apex towers that you are seeing, the 2 towers. Barely about 9 meters from there is the other, the Emerald Court and ATS Village. Remember, it's the Resident Welfare Association of Emerald Court who's fought for about 9 years. Finally, with the Allahabad High Court stepping in and ordering the demolition of these 2 twin buildings, it certainly comes across as a major relief for all those residents of Emerald Court as well as ATS Village. Not to forget that what you see is the construction, which is it's extremely close, and that is the reason why they say that there was a violation of the Uttar Pradesh Apartments Act. And not just that, it was also the fact that what was supposed to be about 14 towers, that too with only 9 floors with a garden area, was then revised by the builder. Supertech was the builder, revised that very proposal, and thereafter what happened was what you see today. And this is a clear act of corruption, and finally that is going to come crushing down. And no doubt about the fact that this is going to be a major relief for those who have been fighting for almost over 9 years. So what's going to really happen starting from 2:30 this afternoon? Now, what you see this area, let me just give you a sense of this entire area. This is largely the urban residential area, the township that has come up over the years in Noida. This is where we are broadcasting from. It's a building which is barely about a few meters away. It's a park which basically divides us and the 2 twin towers that you see there. This entire area, if you see, it's a lot of these buildings buildings are essentially coming up. There are several other issues that Noida essentially faces, but of course, illegal constructions being one of them. And today, what you're going to see is that very symbol of corruption coming down. Hopefully it will act as some sort of a lesson for all the builders who have taken a lot of residents, buyers for a ride. And finally, this is what you see behind me, the two twin towers that's going to come crushing down. Now, this entire area is now considered as the exclusion area. As you see, most of these areas have been, completely evacuated. Residents have essentially been asked to leave. So we are at a safe distance, if I may say so. Of course, when the explosion is essentially going to take place, it's going to have its own repercussions. We'll come to that area also. What are the major concerns? We'll take you through all of that, also go across to our reporters. But I've just given you a sense of this entire area. As you can see, a lot of under construction buildings, some residential societies, which most of them have been asked to evacuate till about 7 o'clock in the morning. Most of those areas, the ATS village particularly, the residents of ATS village, Emerald Court, had already been asked to evacuate by 7 o'clock this morning. As you can see, you may see some of those plastic sheets that have been put up. These are some of the precautions that have been taken by the residents in those areas, because when the implosion actually takes place, it's going to have a direct impact, a bit of it. But remember, the company that is essentially responsible for the demolition, Edifice, a Mumbai-based company, a tie-up is done with a South African company. They've essentially said that there has been a study for quite some time, and it's over 6 months when the preparations have been undertaken, and they've essentially made the assurance to those who are living close by that it's not going to have that kind of an impact. There won't be structural damages. Of course, not really taking away the fact that there could be some cracks, but all of that is going to be essentially taken care of. But what we are going to see at 2:30 is something that we'll take you through some of those graphics that we have prepared for you, just to understand why there is so much of curiosity when these two buildings are going to come down. Why is it that everyone today is glued to it? Because when we were coming also, and if in case I can just show you the curiosity that even people have, you take a look at those cars that have been parked all here. While we were also coming, we saw a lot of people gathering there, taking pictures of it. Of course, media personnel also be there, but a lot of people have also come across because they want to get a glimpse of it. Because remember, the only last video that went completely viral was the demolition that took place in Kerala and Maradu. And remember, it's the same company that is responsible for the demolition of the Supertech Twin Towers as it was in Kerala. That video went viral. But the difference here is that what you're seeing is this particular building is taller than Qutub Minar. These two buildings put together, there are about 30 to 40, 30 floors, and these are the two floors that these are the two buildings. We'll keep, getting you all the latest updates. Stay tuned with us. We'll cut across to Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat.
बताना चाहता हूं, अभी कुछ दिन पहले मुझे भारत सरकार के सूचना और प्रसारण मंत्रालय के कार्यक्रम में जाने का अवसर मिला। वहां उन्होंने स्वराज दूरदर्शन की सीरियल का स्क्रीनिंग रखा था। मुझे उसके प्रीमियर में जाने का मौका मिला। ये आजादी के आंदोलन में हिस्सा लेने वाले अनसुने नायक नायिकाओं के प्रयासों से देश की युवा पीढ़ी को परिचित कराने की एक बेहतरीन पहल है। दूरदर्शन पर हर रविवार रात 9 बजे इसका प्रसारण होता है और मुझे बताया गया कि 75 सप्ताह तक चलने वाला है। मेरा आग्रह है कि आप समय निकालकर इसे खुद भी देखें और अपने घर के बच्चों को भी जरूर दिखाएं। और स्कूल कॉलेज के लोग तो इसको रिकॉर्डिंग करके जब सोमवार को स्कूल कॉलेज खुलते हैं तो विशेष कार्यक्रम की रचना भी कर सकते हैं, ताकि आजादी के जंग के इन महानायकों के प्रति हमारे देश में एक नई जागरूकता पैदा होगी। आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव अगले साल यानी अगस्त 2023 तक चलेगा। देश के लिए, स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों के लिए जो लेखन आयोजन आदि हम कर रहे थे, हमें उन्हें और आगे बढ़ाना है। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, हमारे पूर्वजों का ज्ञान, हमारे पूर्वजों की दीर्घ दृष्टि और हमारे पूर्वजों का एकात्म चिंतन आज भी कितना महत्वपूर्ण है। जब उसकी गहराई में जाते हैं तो हम आश्चर्य से भर जाते हैं। हजारों साल पुराना हमारा ऋग्वेद में कहा गया है, ओमान मापो मानुषी अमृतम धात तोकाय तनयाय संयो हो यूयम हिष्ठा भीषजो मातृतमा विश्वस्य स्थातु जगतो जनित्री ही। अर्थात हे जल, आप मानवता के परम मित्र हैं, आप जीवनदायिनी हैं, आपसे ही अन्न उत्पन्न होता है और आपसे ही हमारी संतानों का हित होता है। आप हमें सुरक्षा प्रदान करने वाले हैं और सभी बुराइयों से दूर रखते हैं। आप सबसे उत्तम औषधि हैं और आप ही इस ब्रह्मांड के पालनहार हैं। सोचिए, हमारी संस्कृति में हजारों वर्ष पहले जल और जल संरक्षण का महत्व समझाया गया है। जब ये ज्ञान हम आज के संदर्भ में देखते हैं तो रोमांचित हो उठते हैं, लेकिन जब इसी ज्ञान को देश अपने सामर्थ्य के रूप में स्वीकारता है तो उनकी ताकत अनेक गुना बढ़ जाती है। आपको याद होगा, मन की बात में ही 4 महीने पहले मैंने अमृत सरोवर की बात की थी। उसके बाद अलग अलग जिलों में स्थानीय प्रशासन जुटा, स्वयंसेवी संस्थाएं जुटी और स्थानीय लोग जुटे। देखते ही देखते अमृत सरोवर का निर्माण एक जन आंदोलन बन गया है। जब देश के लिए कुछ करने की भावना हो, अपने कर्तव्यों का एहसास हो, आने वाली पीढ़ियों की चिंता हो, तो सामर्थ्य भी जुड़ता है और संकल्प नेक बन जाता है। मुझे तेलंगाना के वारंगल के एक शानदार प्रयास की जानकारी मिली है। यहां एक नई ग्राम पंचायत का गठन हुआ है जिसका नाम है मंगत्या वाल्या थांडा। यह गांव फॉरेस्ट एरिया के करीब है। यहां के गांव के पास ही एक ऐसा स्थान था जहां मानसून के दौरान काफी पानी इकट्ठा हो जाता था। गांव वालों की पहल पर अब इस स्थान को अमृत सरोवर अभियान के तहत विकसित किया जा रहा है। इस बार मानसून के दौरान हुई बारिश में ये सरोवर पानी से लबालब भर गया है। मैं मध्य प्रदेश के मंडला में मोचा ग्राम पंचायत में बने अमृत सरोवर के बारे में भी आपको बताना चाहता हूं। यह अमृत सरोवर कान्हा राष्ट्रीय उद्यान के पास बना है और इसे इस इलाके की सुंदरता को और बढ़ा दिया है। उत्तर प्रदेश के ललितपुर में नवनिर्मित शहीद भगत सिंह अमृत सरोवर भी लोगों को काफी आकर्षित कर रहा है। यहां की निवारी ग्राम पंचायत में बना यह सरोवर 4 एकड़ में फैला हुआ है। सरोवर के किनारे हुआ वृक्षारोपण इसकी शोभा को बढ़ा रहा है। सरोवर के पास लगे 35 फीट ऊंचे तिरंगे को देखने के लिए भी दूर दूर से लोग आ रहे हैं। अमृत सरोवर का यह अभियान कर्नाटका में भी जोरों पर चल रहा है। यहां के बागलकोट जिले के बिलकेरूर गांव में लोगों ने बहुत सुंदर अमृत सरोवर बनाया है। दरअसल इस क्षेत्र में पहाड़ से निकले पानी की वजह से लोगों को बहुत मुश्किल होती थी। किसानों और उनके फसलों को भी नुकसान पहुंचता था। अमृत सरोवर बनाने के लिए गांव के लोग सारा पानी चैनलाइज करके एक तरफ ले आए। इससे इलाके में बाढ़ की समस्या भी दूर हो गई। अमृत सरोवर अभियान हमारी आज की अनेक समस्याओं का समाधान तो करता ही है, हमारी आने वाली पीढ़ियों के लिए भी उतना ही आवश्यक है। इस अभियान के तहत कई जगहों पर पुराने जलाशयों का भी कायाकल्प किया जा रहा है। अमृत सरोवर का उपयोग पशुओं की प्यास बुझाने के साथ ही खेती किसानी के लिए भी हो रहा है। इन तालाबों की वजह से आसपास के क्षेत्रों का ग्राउंड वाटर टेबल बढ़ा है, वहीं इनके चारों ओर हरियाली भी बढ़ रही है। इतना ही नहीं, कई जगह लोग अमृत सरोवर में मछली पालन की तैयारियों में भी जुटे हैं। मेरा आप सभी से और खासकर मेरे युवा साथियों से आग्रह है कि आप अमृत सरोवर अभियान में बढ़ चढ़ करके हिस्सा लें और जल संचय और जल संरक्षण के इन प्रयासों को पूरी से पूरी ताकत दें, उसको आगे बढ़ाएं। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, असम के बोंगाई गांव में एक दिलचस्प परियोजना चलाई जा रही है, प्रोजेक्ट संपूर्णा। इस प्रोजेक्ट का मकसद है कुपोषण के खिलाफ लड़ाई, और इस लड़ाई का तरीका भी बहुत यूनिक है। इसके तहत किसी आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र के एक स्वस्थ बच्चे की मां एक कुपोषित बच्चे की मां से हर सप्ताह मिलती है और पोषण से संबंधित सारी जानकारियों पर चर्चा करती है। यानी एक मां दूसरी मां की मित्र बन उसकी मदद करती है, उसे सीख देती है। इस प्रोजेक्ट की मदद से इस क्षेत्र में एक साल में 90% से ज्यादा बच्चों में कुपोषण दूर हुआ है। आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं, क्या कुपोषण दूर करने में गीत, संगीत और भजन का भी इस्तेमाल हो सकता है? मध्य प्रदेश के दतिया जिले में मेरा बच्चा अभियान, इस मेरा बच्चा अभियान में इसका सफलतापूर्वक प्रयोग किया गया। इसके तहत जिले में भजन कीर्तन आयोजित हुए, जिसमें पोषण गुरु कहलाने वाले शिक्षकों को बुलाया गया। एक मटका कार्यक्रम भी हुआ। इसमें महिलाएं आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र के लिए मुट्ठी भर अनाज लेकर आती हैं और इसी अनाज से शनिवार को बाल भोज का आयोजन होता है। इससे आंगनवाड़ी केंद्रों में बच्चों की उपस्थिति बढ़ने के साथ ही कुपोषण भी कम हुआ है। कुपोषण के प्रति जागरूकता बढ़ाने के लिए एक यूनिक अभियान झारखंड में भी चल रहा है। झारखंड के गिरिडीह में सांप सीढ़ी का एक गेम तैयार किया गया है। खेल खेल में बच्चे अच्छी और खराब आदतों के बारे में सीखते हैं। साथियों, कुपोषण से जुड़े इतने सारे अभिनव प्रयोगों के बारे में मैं आपको इसलिए बता रहा हूं क्योंकि हम सबको भी आने वाले महीने में इस अभियान से जुड़ना है। सितंबर का महीना त्योहारों के साथ साथ पोषण से जुड़े बड़े अभियान को भी समर्पित है। हम हर साल 1 से 30 सितंबर के बीच पोषण माह मनाते हैं। कुपोषण के खिलाफ पूरे देश में अनेक क्रिएटिव और डाइवर्स एफर्ट्स किए जा रहे हैं। टेक्नोलॉजी का बेहतर इस्तेमाल और जन भागीदारी भी पोषण अभियान का महत्वपूर्ण हिस्सा बना है। देश में लाखों आंगनवाड़ी कार्यकर्ताओं को मोबाइल डिवाइस देने से लेकर आंगनवाड़ी सेवाओं की पहुंच को मॉनिटर करने के लिए पोषण ट्रैकर भी लॉन्च किया गया है। सभी एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स और नॉर्थ ईस्ट के राज्यों में 14 से 18 साल की बेटियों को भी पोषण अभियान के दायरे में लाया गया है। कुपोषण की समस्या का निराकरण इन कदमों तक ही सीमित नहीं है। इस लड़ाई में दूसरी कई और पहल की भी अहम भूमिका है। उदाहरण के तौर पर जल जीवन मिशन को ही ले तो भारत को कुपोषण मुक्त कराने में इस मिशन का भी बहुत बड़ा असर होने वाला है। कुपोषण की चुनौतियों से निपटने में सामाजिक जागरूकता से जुड़े प्रयास महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाते हैं। मैं आप सभी से आग्रह करूंगा कि आप आने वाले पोषण माह में कुपोषण या मालन्यूट्रिशन को दूर करने के प्रयासों में हिस्सा जरूर लें। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, चेन्नई से श्रीदेवी वरदराजन जी ने मुझे एक रिमाइंडर भेजा है। उन्होंने माय गॉव पर अपनी बात कुछ इस प्रकार से लिखी है। नए साल के आने में अब 5 महीने से भी कम समय बचा है और हम सब जानते हैं कि आने वाला नया साल इंटरनेशनल ईयर ऑफ मिलेट्स के तौर पर मनाया जाएगा। उन्होंने मुझे देश का एक मिलेट मैप भी भेजा है। साथ ही पूछा है कि क्या आप मन की बात में आने वाले एपिसोड में इस पर चर्चा कर सकते हैं। मुझे अपने देशवासियों में इस तरह के जज्बे को देखकर बहुत ही आनंद की अनुभूति होती है। आपको याद होगा कि यूनाइटेड नेशंस ने एक प्रस्ताव पारित कर वर्ष 2023 को इंटरनेशनल ईयर ऑफ मिलेट्स घोषित किया है। आपको ये जानकर भी बहुत खुशी होगी कि भारत के इस प्रस्ताव को 70 से ज्यादा देशों का समर्थन मिला था। आज दुनिया भर में इसी मोटे अनाज का, मिलेट्स का क्रेज बढ़ता जा रहा है। साथियों, जब मैं मोटे अनाज की बात करता हूं तो मेरे एक प्रयास को भी मैं आज आपको शेयर करना चाहता हूं। पिछले कुछ समय से भारत में कोई भी जब विदेशी मेहमान आते हैं, राष्ट्राध्यक्ष भारत आते हैं, तो मेरी कोशिश रहती है कि भोजन में भारत के मिलेट्स यानी हमारे मोटे अनाज से बनी हुई डिशेज बनवाऊं। और अनुभव यह आया है कि इन महानुभावों को यह डिशेज बहुत पसंद आती है और हमारे मोटे अनाज के संबंध में, मिलेट्स के संबंध में काफी कुछ जानकारियां एकत्र करने का वो प्रयास भी करते हैं। मिलेट्स, मोटे अनाज प्राचीन काल से ही हमारे एग्रीकल्चर, कल्चर और सिविलाइजेशन का हिस्सा रहे हैं। हमारे वेदों में मिलेट्स का उल्लेख मिलता है और इसी तरह पुराण नुरु और तोलकप्पियम में भी इसके बारे में बताया गया है। आप देश के किसी भी हिस्से में जाएं, आपको वहां लोगों के खान पान में अलग अलग तरह के मिलेट्स जरूर देखने को मिलेंगे। हमारी संस्कृति की तरह मिलेट्स में भी बहुत विविधताएं पाई जाती हैं। ज्वार, बाजरा, रागी, सावा, कंगनी, चीना, कोदो, कुटकी, कुट्टू, ये सब मिलेट्स ही तो है। भारत विश्व में मिलेट्स का सबसे बड़ा उत्पादक देश है। इसलिए इस पहल को सफल बनाने की बड़ी जिम्मेदारी भी हम भारतवासियों के कंधे पर ही है। हम सबको मिलकर इसे जन आंदोलन बनाना है और देश के लोगों में मिलेट्स के प्रति जागरूकता भी बढ़ानी है। और साथियों, आप तो भली बात ही जानते हैं, मिलेट्स किसानों के लिए भी फायदेमंद है और वो भी खास करके छोटे किसानों को। दरअसल बहुत ही कम समय में फसल तैयार हो जाती है और इसमें ज्यादा पानी की आवश्यकता भी नहीं होती है। हमारे छोटे किसानों के लिए तो मिलेट्स विशेष रूप से लाभकारी है। मिलेट्स के भूसे को बेहतरीन चारा भी माना जाता है। आजकल युवा पीढ़ी हेल्दी लिविंग और ईटिंग को लेकर बहुत फोकस है। इस हिसाब से भी देखें तो मिलेट्स में भरपूर प्रोटीन, फाइबर और मिनरल्स मौजूद होते हैं। कई लोग तो इसे सुपर फूड भी बोलते हैं। मिलेट से एक नहीं अनेक लाभ है। ओबेसिटी को कम करने के साथ ही डायबिटीज, हाइपरटेंशन और हार्ट रिलेटेड डिसीज के खतरे को भी कम करते हैं। इसके साथ ही ये पेट और लीवर की बीमारियों से बचाव में भी मददगार है। थोड़ी देर पहले ही हमने कुपोषण के बारे में बात की है। कुपोषण से लड़ने में भी मिलेट्स काफी लाभदायक हैं, क्योंकि ये प्रोटीन के साथ साथ एनर्जी से भी भरे होते हैं। देश में आज मिलेट्स को बढ़ावा देने के लिए काफी कुछ किया जा रहा है। इससे जुड़ी रिसर्च और इनोवेशन पर फोकस करने के साथ ही एफपीओस को प्रोत्साहित किया जा रहा है ताकि उत्पादन बढ़ाया जा सके। मेरा अपने किसान भाई बहनों से यही आग्रह है कि मिलेट्स यानी मोटे अनाज को अधिक से अधिक अपनाएं और इसका फायदा उठाएं। मुझे देखकर काफी अच्छा लगता है कि आज कई ऐसे स्टार्टअप्स उभर रहे हैं जो मिलेट्स पर काम कर रहे हैं। इनमें से कुछ मिलेट कुकीज बना रहे हैं तो कुछ मिलेट पैनकेक्स और डोसा भी बना रहे हैं। वहीं कुछ ऐसे हैं जो मिलेट एनर्जी बार्स और मिलेट ब्रेकफास्ट तैयार कर रहे हैं। मैं इस क्षेत्र में काम करने वाले सभी लोगों को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। त्योहारों के इस मौसम में हम लोग अधिकतर पकवानों में भी मिलेट्स का उपयोग करते हैं। आप अपने घरों में बने ऐसे पकवानों की तस्वीरें सोशल मीडिया पर जरूर शेयर करें ताकि लोगों के बीच मिलेट्स को लेकर जागरूकता बढ़ाने में मदद मिले। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, अभी कुछ दिन पहले मैंने अरुणाचल प्रदेश के सियांग जिले में जोरसिंग गांव की एक खबर देखी। ये खबर एक ऐसे बदलाव के बारे में थी जिसका इंतजार इस गांव के लोगों को कई वर्षों से था। दरअसल जोरसिंग गांव में इसी महीने स्वतंत्रता दिवस के दिन से 4G इंटरनेट की सेवाएं शुरू हो गई हैं। जैसे पहले कभी गांव में बिजली पहुंचने पर लोग खुश होते थे, अब नए भारत में वैसी ही खुशी 4G पहुंचने पर होती है। अरुणाचल और नॉर्थ ईस्ट के दूर सुदूर इलाकों में 4G के तौर पर एक नया सूर्योदय हुआ है। इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी एक नया सवेरा लेकर आई है। जो सुविधाएं कभी सिर्फ बड़े शहरों में होती थी, वो डिजिटल इंडिया ने गांव गांव में पहुंचा दी है। इस वजह से देश में नए डिजिटल एंटरप्रेन्योर पैदा हो रहे हैं। राजस्थान के अजमेर जिले के सेठा सिंह रावत जी दर्जी ऑनलाइन ई स्टोर चलाते हैं। आप सोचेंगे ये क्या काम हुआ? दर्जी ऑनलाइन, दरअसल सेठा सिंह रावत कोविड के पहले टेलरिंग का काम करते थे। कोविड आया तो रावत जी ने इस चुनौती को मुश्किल नहीं बल्कि अवसर के रूप में लिया। उन्होंने कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर यानी CSC ई स्टोर ज्वाइन किया और ऑनलाइन कामकाज शुरू किया। उन्होंने देखा कि ग्राहक बड़ी संख्या में मास्क का ऑर्डर दे रहे हैं। उन्होंने कुछ महिलाओं को काम पर रखा और मास्क बनवाने लगे। इसके बाद उन्होंने दर्जी ऑनलाइन नाम से अपना ऑनलाइन स्टोर शुरू कर दिया जिसमें और भी कई तरह से कपड़े वो बनाकर बेचने लगे। आज डिजिटल इंडिया की ताकत से सेठा सिंह जी का काम इतना बढ़ चुका है कि अब उन्हें पूरे देश से ऑर्डर मिलते हैं। सैकड़ों महिलाओं को उन्होंने अपने यहाँ रोजगार दे रखा है। डिजिटल इंडिया ने यूपी के उन्नाव में रहने वाले ओम प्रकाश सिंह जी को भी डिजिटल एंटरप्रेन्योर बना दिया है। उन्होंने अपने गांव में 1000 से ज्यादा ब्रॉडबैंड कनेक्शन स्थापित किए हैं। ओम प्रकाश जी ने अपने कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर के आसपास निशुल्क वाईफाई जोन का भी निर्माण किया है जिससे जरूरतमंद लोगों की बहुत मदद हो रही है। ओम प्रकाश जी का काम अब इतना बढ़ गया है कि उन्होंने 20 से ज्यादा लोगों को नौकरी पर रख लिया है। ये लोग गांवों के स्कूल, अस्पताल, तहसील ऑफिस और आंगनवाड़ी केंद्रों तक ब्रॉडबैंड कनेक्शन पहुंचा रहे हैं और इसे रोजगार भी प्राप्त कर रहे हैं। कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर की तरह ही गवर्नमेंट ई मार्केट प्लेस यानी जेम पोर्टल पर भी ऐसी कितनी सक्सेस स्टोरी देखने को मिल रही है। साथियों, मुझे गांवों से ऐसे कितने ही संदेश मिलते हैं जो इंटरनेट की वजह से आए बदलावों को मुझसे साझा करते हैं। इंटरनेट ने हमारे युवा साथियों की पढ़ाई और सीखने के तरीकों को ही बदल दिया है। जैसे कि यूपी की गुड़िया सी जब उन्नाव के अमोइया गांव में अपनी ससुराल आई तो उन्हें अपनी पढ़ाई की चिंता हुई, लेकिन भारत नेट ने उनकी इस चिंता का समाधान कर दिया। गुड़िया ने इंटरनेट के जरिए अपनी पढ़ाई को आगे बढ़ाया और अपना ग्रेजुएशन भी पूरा किया। गांव गांव में ऐसे कितने ही जीवन डिजिटल इंडिया अभियान से नई शक्ति पा रहे हैं। आप मुझे गांवों के डिजिटल एंटरप्रेन्योर के बारे में ज्यादा से ज्यादा लिख करके भेजें और उनकी सक्सेस स्टोरीज को सोशल मीडिया पर भी जरूर साझा करें। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, कुछ समय पहले मुझे हिमाचल प्रदेश से मन की बात के एक श्रोता रमेश जी का पत्र मिला। रमेश जी ने अपने पत्र में पहाड़ों की कई खूबियों का जिक्र किया है। उन्होंने लिखा कि पहाड़ों पर बस्तियां भले ही दूर दूर बसती हो, लेकिन लोगों के दिल एक दूसरे के बहुत नजदीक होते हैं। वाकई पहाड़ों पर रहने वाले लोगों के जीवन से हम बहुत कुछ सीख सकते हैं। पहाड़ों की जीवन शैली और संस्कृति से हमें पहला पाठ तो यही मिलता है कि हम परिस्थितियों के दबाव में न आए तो आसानी से उन पर विजय भी प्राप्त कर सकते हैं। और दूसरा, हम कैसे स्थानीय संसाधनों से आत्मनिर्भर बन सकते हैं। जिस पहली सीख का जिक्र मैंने किया, उसका एक सुंदर चित्र इन दिनों स्पीति क्षेत्र में देखने को मिल रहा है। स्पीति एक जनजातीय क्षेत्र है। यहाँ इन दिनों मटर तोड़ने का काम चलता है। पहाड़ी खेतों पर एक मेहनत भरा और मुश्किल काम होता है, लेकिन यहाँ गांव की महिलाएं इकट्ठा होकर एक साथ मिलकर एक दूसरे के खेतों से मटर तोड़ती है। इस काम के साथ साथ महिलाएं स्थानीय गीत छपरा माझी छपरा ये भी गाती हैं। यानी यहाँ आपसी सहयोग भी लोक परंपरा का एक हिस्सा है। स्पीति में स्थानीय संसाधनों के सदुपयोग का भी बेहतरीन उदाहरण मिलता है। स्पीति में किसान जो गाय पालते हैं, उनके गोबर को सुखाकर बोरियों में भर लेते हैं। जब सर्दियां आती हैं तो इन बोरियों को गाय के रहने की जगह में, जिसे यहाँ खुड कहते हैं, उसमें बिछा दिया जाता है। बर्फबारी के बीच ये बोरियां गायों को ठंड से सुरक्षा देती हैं। सर्दियां जाने के बाद यही गोबर खेतों में खाद के रूप में इस्तेमाल किया जाता है। यानी पशुओं के वेस्ट से ही उनकी सुरक्षा भी और खेतों के लिए खाद भी। खेती की लागत भी कम और खेत में उपज भी ज्यादा। इसलिए तो एक क्षेत्र इन दिनों प्राकृतिक खेती के लिए भी एक प्रेरणा बन रहा है। साथियों, इसी तरह के कई सराहनीय प्रयास हमारे एक और पहाड़ी राज्य उत्तराखंड में भी देखने को मिल रहे हैं। उत्तराखंड में कई प्रकार के औषधि और वनस्पतियां पाई जाती है, जो हमारे सेहत के लिए बहुत फायदेमंद होती है। उन्हीं में से एक फल है बेडू। इसे हिमालयन फिग के नाम से भी जाना जाता है। इस फल में खनिज और विटामिन भरपूर मात्रा में पाए जाते हैं। लोग फल के रूप में तो इसका सेवन करते ही हैं, साथ ही कई बीमारियों के इलाज में भी इसका उपयोग होता है। इस फल की इन्हीं खूबियों को देखते हुए अब बेडू के जूस, इससे बने जैम, चटनी, अचार और इन्हें सुखाकर तैयार किए गए ड्राई फ्रूट को बाजार में उतारा गया है। पिथौरागढ़ प्रशासन की पहल और स्थानीय लोगों के सहयोग से बेडू को बाजार तक अलग अलग रूपों में पहुंचाने में सफलता मिली है। बेडू को पहाड़ी अंजीर के नाम से ब्रांडिंग करके ऑनलाइन मार्केट में भी उतारा गया है। इससे किसानों को आय का नया स्रोत तो मिला ही है, साथ ही बेडू के औषधीय गुणों का फायदा दूर दूर तक पहुंचने लगा है। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, मन की बात में आज शुरुआत में हमने आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के बारे में बात की है। स्वतंत्रता दिवस के एक महान पर्व के साथ साथ आने वाले दिनों में और भी कई पर्व आने वाले हैं। अभी कुछ दिन बाद ही भगवान गणेश की आराधना का पर्व गणेश चतुर्थी है। गणेश चतुर्थी यानी गणपति बप्पा के आशीर्वाद का पर्व। गणेश चतुर्थी के पहले ओणम का पर्व भी शुरू हो रहा है। विशेष रूप से केरला में ओणम शांति और समृद्धि की भावना के साथ मनाया जाएगा। 30 अगस्त को हरतालिका तीज भी है। ओडिशा में 1 सितंबर को नुआखाई का पर्व भी मनाया जाएगा। नुआखाई का मतलब ही होता है नया खाना, यानी ये भी दूसरे कई पर्वों की तरह ही हमारी कृषि परंपरा से जुड़ा त्योहार है। इसी बीच जैन समाज का संवत्सरी पर्व भी होगा। हमारे सभी पर्व हमारी सांस्कृतिक समृद्धि और जीवंतता के पर्याय हैं। मैं आप सभी को इन त्योहारों और विशेष अवसरों के लिए शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। इन पर्वों के साथ साथ कल 29 अगस्त को मेजर ध्यानचंद जी की जन्म जयंती पर राष्ट्रीय खेल दिवस भी मनाया जाएगा। हमारे युवा खिलाड़ी वैश्विक मंचों पर हमारे तिरंगे की शान बढ़ाते रहें, यही हमारी ध्यानचंद जी के प्रति श्रद्धांजलि होगी। देश के लिए हम सभी मिलकर ऐसे ही काम करते रहें, देश का मान बढ़ाते रहें। इसी कामना के साथ मैं अपनी बात समाप्त करता हूं। अगले माह एक बार फिर आपसे मन की बात होगी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
All right, we continue to be live and breaking, and I want my VJ Vivek to show the visuals right now. These are just fresh shots coming in from the vantage point that where we are right now. You can see that the NDRF team is at spot right over there. They're having some kind of a contingency plan. NDRF, I repeat, NDRF has been deployed all around. We had told you, and we're getting those live visuals for you viewers as we speak. NDRF team there. There was an ambulance there as well. So the ambulance has just left. Actually, you can see the ambulance there. There's an ambulance right next to the vehicles there. And the NDRF team has come at the spot. It looks like the preparations are right now underway. Multiple teams being deployed everywhere, taking all precautions. Remember that this is just one of the preparations which are happening right now. In fact, there are 560 police personnel which are around. CCTV cameras have also been put in place as well. We also have dust machines to make sure that the pollution level does not rise up. So multiple preparations. Now it seems as if, you know, the time is very near. The time is very near, viewers, that the implosion will take place at 2:30 p.m. sharp. And as we showed you the visuals, the NDRF team is on spot. Multiple blockades have happened. There are barricades all over the place as well. In fact, 1 to 2 kilometers there has been completely closed off. The traffic has also been stalled. No entry and exit from the barricades. And that is the Twin Towers, you can see right over there. There has been a bit of mesh and blankets put. That's the place where the debris is expected to fly out. So to control the debris, the blankets have been put there. And after we saw those visuals of the NDRF team, we can tell you viewers that the countdown has begun. The countdown has begun. It's 11:33 a.m. and at 2:30 the blast will take place. Shavan is also joining me live. Shavan, over to you. From the spot that we have right now, we can actually see the ambulances and the NDRF team arrive. It's just an hours away for that big demolition. The D-Day has come. Shavan, what are you picking up from where you are?
Well, in fact, for all our viewers who are tuning in right now, undoubtedly there's going to be a lot of curiosity as to what exactly really happens when India is essentially going to witness one of the tallest structures that is going to be brought down. What you see just behind me are the two twin towers, 100 meters, roughly about 100 meters, a little taller than the Qutub Minar in the national capital. What you see around 2:30, these two twin towers behind me would come crashing down. As we have been pointing out, undoubtedly this has raised a lot of curiosity as well as concern among the residents in the nearby areas. In fact, we'll try and go across to some of the residents who are here where we are broadcasting right now in a short while from now. But let me just give you a quick recap of the area that of what we know so far, the area that we are in, and what's the kind of impact that it's expected to have, because what you see, those two towers are not very far away from where we are broadcasting right now. Of course, a little outside the exclusion zone. Now, what you see is, I'll try and explain, this is sector 93A of Noida, where these two twin towers have been built, which is not really far away from the Noida Expressway. The Noida Expressway connects to the main areas, to the national capital, and what you see all around, these are the upcoming areas of Noida with a lot of under construction buildings that have come in. Now this building, remember, in principle had essentially got the approval of basically coming up with roughly about 14 towers with 9 floors each. Now that was the initial proposal. What happened thereafter was the builder on his own, after getting the approval from the Noida authority, created these 2 twin towers. Now, if you're asking what's the problem and why exactly are we really bringing down these 2 twin towers where roughly about 800 apartments are there, roughly, that's the rough number that I'm talking about. Now the problem is this: when this proposal was amended, that they came up with these 2 buildings, it was just very close to what you see the area known as Emerald Court and ATS village. I'll just ask Ravatji to just try and zoom in a little bit so that I can try and explain it to you viewers. What are we trying to say? Why exactly is this building really coming down? And what are the real problems beyond the spectacle that we are going to see? There are also larger issues that today urban housing faces, and this is a symbol of that problem of urban housing, because what you see is that the builder got the approval and then created these 2 towers barely about 9 meters away. So if Ravatji can perhaps pan it down a little bit and try and show you the proximity of one of the towers of Supertech with that of the 2 towers, Astor 1 and Astor 3, if I'm not wrong. These are the 2 towers of Emerald Court, which is extremely close. So the difference is barely few meters away. Now, what exactly is the violation? Now, the violation is the violation of the Uttar Pradesh Apartments Act, and the fact that residents were not taken into consideration when they were building this entire twin towers. And that area had a garden area also. It was supposed to have a garden area, a complex, 14 towers, just about 9 floors. So there would have been adequate space between each tower. All of that had been completely violated. And what is even more surprising is that the Noida authorities allowed that to happen. And then this structure was created. But Emerald Court Resident Welfare Association, they decided to move the court. They moved the Allahabad High Court. It's the Allahabad High Court which had passed an order and said that the demolition should take place. It is a clear violation. This was upheld by the Apex Court. The Apex Court also came to a final conclusion that yes, it should be brought down because there is a clear violation. And not just that, some very scathing remarks that were made by the Apex Court that this was act of collusion, act of corruption. And that's exactly what we are witnessing today. Now, talking about the other aspects of this demolition, why it's creating so much, it's garnering so much of curiosity. In fact, I'll show you also some of the residents who are here. We'll try and go across to them in a short while from now. But just to give you a sense of this area, what has happened is that roughly till about 7 o'clock in the morning, the residents who were closer to the building, they were allowed to stay there but evacuate gradually, and that's exactly happened. Till about 7 o'clock in the morning, they gradually evacuated. Now, what you see is that this entire area, about 500 meters away from there, it's known as the exclusion zone. So they've created that buffer zone so that when the implosion actually takes place, it does not perhaps harm anyone, but there are several concerns. Now, one being what is the amount of dust that is going to be generated if the wind speed is towards this direction. It's going to have its own impact. The residents are going to be impacted. Let's not forget that Noida certainly does not have a very clean air. There is already bad air quality, which is going to be even more impacted because of the dust that is going to be generated, the debris that is going to be generated. Over 50,000 ton of debris that is going to be created because of the demolition. Now, part of it is going to be kept here just to fill up that entire area. A part of it is going to be taken out. The rubbles are going to be taken away to some other construction sites. Now, authorities are essentially saying that it's going to take about a 3-month process to clear off the construction debris.